Friday evening.
Hello. Friday the 13th.
Hello. Oh, it is.
Great.
Oh,
I love it.
My favorite.
My favorite too.
Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Oh, we already got 10 people watching. Okay. All right. Say hello in the comments. How's everybody doing on this Friday evening or whatever time zone you happen to be watching this in, or the replay? I'm Rachel from Rachel Reads and Sings, and we are here for our first live show of the Ravenels.
Yay!
Readalong. Yay! We are going to be talking about this little book right here, Cold-Hearted Rake by Lisa Kleypas. I think this might be the only book of the series that I have the step back for, so I'm very happy.
You're kidding.
I think so. Maybe a couple of the other books, but yeah. Hello everyone. How's everyone's day? How's everyone's week? Also, let us know what star rating you gave this book, if it's a reread, if it's a first read through. I just finished the book about 10 minutes ago. Well, hey.
Okay.
I've been there. I'm sure we all have been there.
Oh, yeah.
Right to the last minute.
It's hard to speed up on that audiobook. I just love her voice. I was listening to
Oh my God, yes. I love Mary Jane Wells, and like she just has such a distinctive way of narrating, and like something about the way that she does Reese's Winterborn.
The Welsh.
It kind of kills me. Like
I feel like she says, I want to count this time because I've read it like 3 times and I want to hear how many times she goes, Helen. Helen. The way he's always saying it.
Yeah,
Helen. And the way she gets his, I'm like, Reese's, I can tell he's bossy on the page. So it's like the way that he gets that, he's so bossy. I like it.
All right. We got 4 stars.
First time.
First read, 4 stars. Second time reading the whole book. 4 stars. We've got a lot of people in agreement. First time I gave it a 2. This time was a 4. Oh, wow. That is a successful reread for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll get.
So why don't we go around? We can all introduce ourselves. And if you want to give some initial thoughts, star rating, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Christy, why don't you start us off?
All right. Hello, I am Christy, and my channel, all my info is Christy Reads a Lot. And this is my second time rereading the whole series. And well, some of them I've read more, but this one I have reread twice now. And the first time I gave it 4 stars. And this time, I think I'm going to stay with 4 stars, but I felt like it was more 3.5 star read for me this time around. So yeah, it's a good start, I think, to the series. And like, I don't hate it by any means, but I think it was a little slower for me this time. So I like it though, overall.
That has me very excited because you've read all of them. So that means we're in for some heavy hitters. I am reading this for the first time. Very excited. I actually started with the last book in the series, Devil in Disguise. And for this one, I'm rating it a 4. And it's just really felt like, oh my gosh, you guys, meeting the sisters, Cassandra, Pandora, Wes. There were so many strong side stories going on. And I felt like Reese Winterborn and Helen's story started to eclipse in terms of like just the romance and the tension for me. And I wouldn't have minded if we got like book 1 and 2 lumped together. It started to feel like that. But like overall, I just enjoyed being introduced to like the estate and seeing, Devin grow and Wes and their dynamics. So there were so many aspects to this that I really enjoyed. But I landed on a 4. But it wasn't the romance that I latched onto, even though it was Kathleen and Devin's book. So
yeah.
So I'm B of Mama Needs to Read Romance everywhere. Well, not really everywhere. Only on like Instagram. Can't handle anything
everywhere
else.
Important.
Everywhere.
For real.
I know, right? And this is my 4th reading. I was telling that to my mother the other day, and she goes, "Oh, so you must really like it." And I was like, "No."
Maybe with the series.
Because I have to read it because I want to read them in order.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not that I dislike it. It's a 4 for me, like with everybody else. But I'm just so used to giving Lisa Kleypas 5s in that way. It feels like, oh, it's not as much of a winner, but still, I mean, it's amazing because it's Lisa Kleypas.
Yeah.
Devin ain't it for me. I have to say, I feel like I understand him better with every read. You know, initially I was like, how dare he? Like after that scene in the dining room where they're together and she shows her prowess at horseback riding a little too well. And yeah, and I was just so mad at him. And now I'm like, well, now I kind of get why he was so furious. You know, because he was like, move. She's like, I forgot to move. My apologies. But anyway, so I kind of get it a little more now, just how overwhelmed he was feeling with everything. But, you know, I guess she had to make it seem like he had that Ravenel temper. And so she needed to show that, but that just isn't my favorite. So West, I love all the characters. West especially, though. I mean, I adore him. My favorite quote being something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, I'm going to go to a pub, get a pint, pay a scantily clad lady to sit in my lap and look very pleased with me. Like, yes.
I love him.
Man.
Him with the nutshell. Say again?
Him with the one-liners like Leo.
Yes.
Very Leo, but more outgoing. More gravity.
I love West.
Yeah. He doesn't have the heaviness that Leo has. He doesn't carry the same burdens, you know. So
and
he's so much fun.
As a cat. Like he had cat hours. He just
and
drinks and lays around. I'm like,
so good. So good.
I'll show some more comments and then I'll go into my thoughts. 4 stars. First read.
Yay.
4 stars. I feel like a lot of you all are on the same page. This is my second time reading this book. We were talking like just before the live. I've read books 1 through 5 of the series before. So I've not read Chasing Cassandra or Devil in Disguise. And I don't know why. I don't have a reason. I just didn't. So
you're saving them. You're saving them for now.
Right. Exactly. And so the first time that I read this book, I gave it 5 stars. I really, really loved it. Well, it was weird because like I had seen on Goodreads, like everybody hates this book on Goodreads. I'm telling you, like all the reviews are like 3 stars and below. Everybody hates this book. And so I had gotten into my head, well, I guess I should just skip this and read Marrying Winterborn. So I tried just going into Marrying Winterborn, got 20% in, and I was like, I have missed so much context. So I stopped and I went back and I read this for the first time. And I absolutely loved it. And I still really, really enjoyed it upon reread. But I remember really loving this just because I think I had my expectations so low. They were like in the basement for this book. And so when I was reading this, I'm like, wait, this is really good. Like, I'm really enjoying it. Like, maybe they're not my favorite Lisa Kleypas couple ever, but like, I understood both characters and like where they were coming from. And like, of course, like what we've been saying, like seeing the Helen and Reese romance start in this book, like that's also amazing. And I love when Lisa Kleypas does that, where we get connections to other romances. And just like the setup of the Ravenels and like y'all were saying, like seeing West and the twins and seeing both Devin and West come into their own with the estate and all of that. And then, I remember, like, this will always stick with me with this book is Devin's love declaration to
the time, girl.
Yes!
Him saying, like, here's, what was it, his grandmother's pocket watch or his mother's
pocket watch is all that he had.
And he's like, I'm giving you time and saying that, like, you know, even if you don't, you know, basically love me the same way or, you know, want to marry me or whatever, like, none of that will have been wasted time because I will have spent, I think he says 60 years loving you. And like, that's always stood out to me about this book. But yeah, this time around, I think because like going into it, I just had a different expectation and a different mindset. That like, I didn't love it quite as much, but it is still like a 5-star book to me. It's just not like a top favorite Lisa Kleypas book. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I'd be interested to see how I would rank it as like a first book, since we've read the Hathaways, since we've read, the Wallflowers as like a first book, because it was a banger first book. I feel like I'm introduced to everybody. I got the lay of the land, side characters, the dynamics, like even like the new like familial dynamic between Kathleen and West. I loved that on the page. I absolutely adored them together. And then also, I really like the time that it's situated in, where like, all of the previous means for the peerage and how they were making money on these estates is changing. The railroads are coming in. I like that like sense of modernity. And then also having we'll get to that, but like Winterborns, that scene reminded me of seeing like Macy's in New York for the first time.
Yes.
Like, I was there to have my serendipity moment. Didn't happen then, but whatever. And they're like, there was just every floor, and it was Christmas time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, could you just imagine in the early 1900s? So I liked that. And even though you've got all this like modernity happening around them, they're like in the countryside and sheltered and like all of the antics. And so I thought it was a great introduction book that actually, because I started the next book like right away. I had to, but like I'm interested in seeing how it like measures up to the others for me, like as a first book.
Sure. Yeah. Well, since we've read, the first book of all 3 series at this point, I think that is an interesting question to think about, is like, is there a ranking in y'all's minds for like Secrets of a Summer Night versus Mine Till Midnight versus Cold Hearted Rake for starting the series?
What about again the magic?
Wait, we don't even.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. I don't know what. Like, I always forget about that book.
Because we're not doing it.
I'm here to help that book.
That's on a pedestal on its own. Like,
I know. We're gonna bump it up.
And then
I think those are the 3 that I don't even. Because there's no competition in my opinion, and I think that's a very great example of 2 romances in the same books, where I was just interested in both. Every single beat. They fed into each other. I didn't feel like one was stealing the other. So she can do it. And, so I felt like there was time spent on their dynamics and the relationships that I think are going to be like, they're just going to make me fall in love with all the other characters more later, which is why I'm excited. Like I picked up the next book right away and I was in it. But with, again, the magic, I just feel like both. And then also it's interesting. She has these characters. I do like how she talks about like alcoholism. Like I'm thinking about Leo and I'm thinking about like, so there's a lot of like tie-ins. But again, the magic is on its own pedestal. I guess I would say if we're taking it out of that, Secrets of Summer Nights, the wallflower setup.
I know.
That's tricky. I have to sleep on that.
It is a little bit like apples to oranges, because you're comparing like the setup of their friendship, which is why like in my mind, Secrets of a Summer Night is the beginning of the wallflowers, right? We're getting that set up in that book. Again, the magic like is almost completely separate, except that Aline is Westcliffe's sister, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
But yeah, and then you've got the setup of the families then in both the Hathaways and the Ravenels. Oh man, I feel like in terms of that, I think the Hathaways are always going to hold a special place in my heart because of just how close they are as a family. And like they really are like a full unit. Whereas with this series so far, what we saw is that, it's the twins, Helen, Kathleen is now a part of that. And then like, Devin and West also like eventually join into it, but they definitely start out much more disjointed.
I do like how this is giving me, if I have to compare them, it reminds me a lot more of Mine Till Midnight, because you have the family hilarity and the antics and the close knit, and then just they're unconventional, and just all of the funny happenings that are happening centered around the estate. Like, I think it's they're both kind of a good opener into the family dynamics there. Where Secrets of Summer Night, which, I mean, that was getting reamed on Goodreads. I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed it more than what I was, reading in the ratings on Goodreads. But I think, I would probably place it next to that as a series opener. They're also different, so you're right. Like apples and oranges.
They are very different. Yeah, I just feel like if you're gonna really focus on like the cast of characters and like their relationships with each other, then something like the Hathaways and the Wallflowers is just stronger because those characters have a stronger bond. Whereas with this series, I feel like we're not going to really see them truly be together as a family unit for a while. Like, I mean, it happens in this book, right?
We just saw Tiffany's heart break on the screen.
What? I mean, I don't know. That's
needs that gas time. She needs it.
What about all the ore we found? Oh my gosh, I can't wait till we get into that.
Oh my god.
Oh, Tom Severin.
I guess so, because everybody got money now and we're good to go and start our lives elsewhere. So that just that hurt me.
For me, I think the Hathaways is also number 1. And then I would actually rank the Ravenels at 2, just because I feel like I really had a chance to fall in love with all of the characters in this book. Sure. And with Secrets of a Summer Night, I had a harder time really getting behind Annabelle. Annabelle? That doesn't feel right.
Yeah, we don't get as much of her. Oh, yeah. I know what you mean. Sorry, I'm getting Annabelle and Daisy confused. Yeah.
But again, we talked about how that was partly because of when they ripped out the prologue,
the editing.
Oh my god!
You really don't know where her mind is at.
Yeah, right. And for me, when I read it, I did not. I did not.
Oh my god, that's
so. In my personal experience, I would rank Wallflowers 3rd.
But,
See, to me, they're in order of like Wallflowers, Hathaways, and then the Ravenels, and that's also the way I read them, because I don't know if I would have started with the Ravenels and like I've already had the foundation of like how Lisa Kleypas begins a series, and I don't know, there's just something about the friend group and the Wallflowers. Like either way, if I do Secrets of a Summer Night or Give Them Magic, those two are just such strong like openers for the series for me. And the Hathaways, like I love their family so much. This one, like I like the Ravenels getting to see all the characters, and she really sets up like 4 or 5 couples. Like you see the heroes and heroines at least of the upcoming books. So I like that. But I think like overall, this one just feels a little less, and maybe that's just because of like how I read them, where I know like what she does, and like this, it has a lot of similar beats that we've seen before. Like Tiffany was saying, like with some of the heroines and maybe their like quirkiness, like especially with Pandora, I feel like she's so reminiscent of in Hathaways, like when we see Beatrix and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it's like I've seen some of the beats Lisa Kleypas likes to do, and she loves apparently to give us in the first book like 2 couples stories or setup. Like with the Hathaways, she did that as well. Like with Mine Till Midnight, she really was setting up Kevin Wynn as well to kind of lead into their book. So yeah, that's my order.
It's very smart too, the way that she's done that with these series, because I mean, it's just very smart to get people hooked onto the series to continue on. And I think with the Ravenels, what's also a bit more challenging as a writer, I would assume, is that it's also a bigger cast of characters. Like as the series goes along, you're seeing heroes and heroines coming from like second gen of Wallflowers and like, and just other places, like, whereas like,
new people.
I feel like Hathaways and like Wallflowers, it's pretty contained, in that series. So I would imagine that's even more challenging. You're writing all these different characters, and
it's true.
All the videos that I watched when I was just like new on BookTube, all the starter, like if you're new to historical romance, I feel like reading these in order would just be great, because she does build in and show you like this is a group of friends. We're gonna follow each one of the romances, and it's really laid out. And now the convention of following every member of the family, and then now I've gone ahead and just trying to look like who after the end of this and starting the next one, I'm like, what are we doing here? When's West getting his romance? Like, I was just so excited to see. And there is a branch off from the family, and there's names that I don't know and people that I haven't seen yet. So I do think it's a good, like, if you're new to historical romance, try from the beginning and like read them through, because she starts to like branch and sprawl out. And I really like that. You see the turns of time too, from like, again, the magic till now. I'm like, wow, like just the outward setting and then like going to New York is crazy. So it's very exciting.
That reminded me too, like with the wallflowers, like you're really seeing more of, well, literally like wallflowers in ballrooms, and you're getting more of maybe that Regency vibe and the ton and all of that. And as we go into time, and with this series, eventually we're getting into, like Tiffany said, like, you know, the times are changing, aristocracy is changing, like the way that their tenant farms and like all of that is happening has changed. And now we get, which I feel like is Lisa Kleypas's bread and butter of self-made men. So we're going to get like away from society and the ton, and like this is just her jam with some of the heroes in this series. So I'm excited. So I feel like that's a good intro for like historical romance readers or first time readers, because you're getting more of like the Regency ballroom, and then she sort of like slowly breaks away from society.
Right. And like into the Industrial Revolution.
And we get to see it, because McKenna was just talking about how he made his money elsewhere. We get to see Winterport's empire. I don't know why I was so excited about that, because talking about like, yes, he has so much money. I also think he's a very like him hiring the valet that he had, but like when they get to go see, like, and Devin says this is all his, like this the whole freaking block. The amount of, and how the peers would just scoff at that. Like, how are you going to scoff at that? You know, and all of like the little rules and everything like that. But for in the beginning, I wanted to see like, how did we feel about like their meet cute? Like in the very beginning, when he comes to the estate to see, and she overhears him talking like that to Wes, like they're just two men, because they're men, they're taking over in the library and just speaking so callously about it. Like, I should just sell it all and send all these women off so we can get back to our life. Like, I thought that first like tour was hilarious. I really felt like I was meeting Kathleen, like the way that she does things, and I really did care for the girls.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how much Devin and Wes changed just in the span of one book.
I know.
Yeah. Well, like Devin said at the beginning, like he never planned to have any of these responsibilities of tenant farmers and an estate and cousins, and like they're coming out or whatever they're doing, you know, like all of these things piled on him that he never expected, but they really go with the times and like learn about it. And West coming and like learning about farming and setting everything up, like they really jump in, like instead of selling it all and like going back to philandering or whatever they're doing, you know, like they really get into it.
I love the moment when Devin's at the train station and he sees a gentleman and then he realizes that it's Wes.
Yeah.
He's like, who's that guy wearing those baggy clothes? And it's like, oh my gosh,
he's a farmer.
Yeah, he's like, it looked like how he looked when he was in college. And I love how he's sort of jealous of the relationship that he's built with Kathleen by being there, by like suiting up, showing up, meeting all the tenant farmers, speaking to them in their terms, learning, being willing to learn and like really figure it out. I loved all of that whole just dynamic between them, like the shorthand that he had with her when they came back home, and Devin is like, what is going on? And like noting how short she is with him and how she's just willing to let Wes lean in and give her a kiss on the head. Like, what's been happening? So many things have been happening since he's been gone. And I really liked that dynamic between them. She gave him a good holding, and I wasn't expecting him to stay. I thought he'd just go back to London. What did she say to him? I don't even know if you're worth saving.
Yeah.
Because what he was going to get on another horse drunk and ride off. That scene was really great, and how
I like their relationship.
I loved it. I loved it. It's so good.
And speaking of saving, when West is going to pull Devin out of the river, and he says that the main reason he did it is because, you know, he wasn't going to die and put West in charge. I am not taking
He's trolling him. He's like, "You're not leaving me with this estate."
Yeah.
That was so funny.
Oh man, Lisa Kleypas putting her characters in peril,
and it wasn't in a fire. I was like, "Come on,
fire.
crash!" I don't know why I didn't see it coming, but I did not see it coming.
No, I didn't either when I first read this. Like, it definitely came like out of nowhere. But a scene that does stand out to me is when Devon and Winterbourne, come back. They come back to the estate, and I just love that scene where like they just kiss. Like Devon and Kathleen, like he just can't help it, and he's kind of out of it because he's injured, and like, but they have such strong feelings for each other, and like,
the way she writes these moments, I think I read it twice. I stopped and went back when he's floating down the river after saving Winterbourne, after saving that like crammed carriage with a baby and an older woman and children, and like he's floating down that like cold lake, and he's like thinking about her. He's like, why did I waste so much time? Why didn't I tell her? I'm like, oh my God, I just love how she writes that moment. And he took that kiss. He did enough energy. Yeah. I just and all of this, so I was like, the servants are gonna be talking.
I know, right? Literally just right in front of everybody, out in the open.
And she's like, "You didn't know what you were doing." He's like, "I knew what I was doing."
Oh yeah.
He does it again. And then she tries to say it's a lot of men. And then he tries to do it again. And I'm like, girl, Kathleen, just,
Yeah. What did you guys think of Kathleen?
I was gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
I like her. I mean, I understand her motivations. Like, people hate her.
Yeah.
I've seen so many reviews where people don't really care about Devon, but like they actively hate Kathleen.
I know.
And I think it's mainly because of the role that she plays in Reese and Helen's engagement breaking. But also I understand why she did that because of what Helen told her. Like,
And even before that, he was raising hell in that household. When of course, I don't think I probably would have beat, I don't know if I would be like that, but I wouldn't be my best if I thought I was going to be blind, if my leg was broken. Like he couldn't, he wasn't home. He's like out of the country. So the way that he was tearing that household up, with his attitude, I think that's really what scared Kathleen. And I too didn't like how she just took over out of protection on Helen. Just spoke for her. Like it was a no. Because in many respects, I felt her to be motherly towards them.
Yeah.
And I do think that Lisa Kleypas did a good job from the very beginning. I felt like, oh, this is a warning when we learn about her upbringing and how her parents were absolutely absent and how she learned very early on how to behave, and there's a right way to behave. And if I do just that, people won't abandon or leave me. So I understood where she was coming from. And then of course the whole societal norm of being in mourning and her having that be an excuse. So she is challenging him despite how she feels and putting like a duty above her feelings for him, which is what I'm at my reading journey now too, where like I think in the past she would have bothered me more, but it's like how many times have I held heroines to the just most highest standard, but I can like bend my brain matter around the reasons for why what he did in this book. I was so upset. And just I'm eager for him to be redeemed. But for her as a heroine, I do think they're back and forth. Like she gave it to him as much as he dished out being a man of his time. She dished out being a woman of her time. But also just like I did like how she stuck up for herself and had like boundaries. And just, like yield. I think I get tired of reading that. So she's a very strong character.
Yeah, she is.
She moved, she was active, she moved the plot. So like things that she would say influence West, things that she would say, would like influence like how much like Devon was gonna do. She wasn't anything special as heroines, but I don't get that. I don't get the hate because she's difficult, right? Like
I feel like she's very in the beginning very rigid in her beliefs of what's the right way to do things, but it's like very much of the time and how she was raised.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. Her family, like all of that. So I can see her wanting to stick to the rules.
Yes.
And I think she's trying to make up for the fact too that she wasn't really his wife because they never consummated. So I think she's especially like fearful of stepping a toe out of line and somehow people are gonna figure it out. I don't know.
And also like because she didn't have a great upbringing, like a normal upbringing of like how a family dynamic should be, I feel like it also makes sense like how she then like overpowers Helen, like how she's just trying to protect her, you know, both her and the twins, but really it's, you know, obviously Helen is a much more active character in this book. And so it also makes sense to me like why like she kind of went overboard. I also think it's interesting, like I forgot how all of that played out at the end. I did remember that like she, you know, played a hand in their engagement breaking, but holy shit, that scene when she went to go see Reese and then straight up awful to her. Like I was like, holy shit. Like
I know.
I was not prepared for the way that he acted towards her. Thank God Devin showed up. Like, what?
When he was like, I'm gonna put you in an effing box, I was like, go.
So
I love that. I couldn't believe that though.
That was crazy.
And Quincy's like, did you need to do that? And he goes, well, it made me feel better. I mean, poor Quincy having to watch that.
I wasn't going to talk to Devin. Well, yeah.
I could see that. I could see that. But like if I were in her shoes, the way that he was acting before, I wouldn't have said shit. You know, like so I get it.
Yeah.
You know? Seeing how like he behaved around the idea of even getting married in general, whether it be to her or anybody else. And then like, you know, she got very like distinctive vibes from him about like how he felt about children, whether they were 100% accurate or not, like what, you know, what she was getting from him. I was like,
doesn't she say like, I'm not going to hold you responsible? And he's like, I'm responsible for everything or something like that. And he's
like he like went off. Yeah.
And
I wouldn't have said anything either. Like,
and she was so about not being another conquest to here is this sly Rake coming in here. I'm not going to just be another conquest. Like you're not going to just, she didn't want to just be left twisting in the wind, you know, just because she found him attractive.
I think it goes back to what Tiffany said, like the first time she meets him / overhears him talking to Wes and was like, we're just going to like off this place or not off get rid of the place, you know, get rid of or put the women elsewhere. Like we don't want to deal with any of that. So she's probably just thinking like she has to be like, you know, careful with her position and her time and, you know, all of that.
Yeah. And like, it's still not a sure thing. Cause even after she gets the locket, she says, I still want a ring.
She's like, let's make sure.
Like, okay, so get your diamonds, girl.
I remember the first time I read this thinking I was so thankful, though, that she hadn't told him the truth, because then that's the only way you know for sure that he definitely wanted to be with her regardless of a baby.
Right.
You know, otherwise we would have always wondered, you know, how much that factored in. So
first historical romance.
Oh, MG.
Welcome. Oh my God.
So good.
So exciting.
So happy.
So exciting. You're in for a great ride.
Yes. Love that for you.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Do you read? Okay, we'll do Rex later. Like, do you read?
Let's go.
I was like, I want to pull off every book. Like, if you read this.
Right. Love the recommendations. Let's go.
Yeah.
But I will say there were like there was a comment earlier about like she wasn't like the best or she's not a standout heroine for me, like not even in this book. I mean, Helen, how many times is Helen even on the page? And I'm like, Reese, yes, testify, because I'm enraptured. Oh, I just play a little piano, you know, like she's just she was just so like bewitching, and like she's innocent, but I think she was a great example of, I used to read heroines that were meek, and I I found them to be displeasing, or I wanted them to be more active, or I wanted them, stake your agency. And then we started getting a lot of books that were like a little too modern in the historical landscape. And I now more than ever appreciate a heroine that is just like, she is very strong and like very kind. She was willing to go into that room and care for him when everybody else was like, just leave it alone. And like, just those, like, there's so many like quick moments between them that spoke so, like the fact that her favorite piece to play, Reese knows it. She doesn't know the name, but it just so happens to be this like Welsh romantic song. And I just adored Helen.
And what about the orchid?
Yeah, the orchid.
He took care of it.
Yeah. She gives to
that's
him,
how she knew. That was how she knew when she got that orchid that it really their relationship was salvageable. Yeah. But I love when she hands it to him and she's like, "Give it water, but don't give it water, and give it sun, but don't give it."
Yeah.
And he's like,
"It's like, what do I do with this thing? Look at it, don't look at it."
Oh,
so
I love it.
I'm more reserved and quiet, but a lot of people have that. Yeah, and the fact that her siblings were just so different.
Yes.
She's really like a good balance to the antics that we see Cassandra and Pandora with the glass on
they're
wild and ripping open packages and playing pirates in the back. Oh my gosh, I loved that.
I love them,
and I think
which
that is the thing.
Why Kathleen? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You go ahead.
I feel like that's why Kathleen kind of takes Helen under her wing, because she's like, okay, she maybe needs a little bit more, where like Cassandra and Pandora are fine. They're out there spying on people. Like they're living it up.
Right. They're right.
You got a pig. They're just
I love
oh my god, the pig killed me.
More well-mannered than the other pets. That was
so Hamlet.
Yeah.
And what about Kathleen's like, I know about the problems with the uncastrated males in this house or something like that. And Devin's like, no comment.
They're the letters. I like the letters back and forth.
Yes.
Yes. Way, like, oh, I that beautiful fabric that he sent her. And she's like, I'm just gonna lie and say I dyed it to black because he knows I'm in mourning. We're not rushing this along. It was so great. I love their
like.
P.S. Did you really dye the shawl?
Yeah.
But I think that is the thing with this book that's always gonna stand out is that, like, Helen and Reese are at the end of the day a more dynamic couple, more dynamic characters. So like, whenever they were on the page, you're like internally screaming, like every like interaction, and it definitely did pull away from Devin and Kathleen. I would say like the first half of this book, like I am so locked into their story. And then in the second half is where after the train accident, and then we see Reese and Helen and stuff. And so it's like, oh wait, what about this couple? What's going on with them?
Yeah. They definitely steal the show.
Yeah, I mean, I love a caretaking moment, just the way that it happens. It's like this slow, just like this brooding bear, and she's just like so calming to him, and I loved that. I really want to learn more about authors, books, all the things. I'm addicted. Well, we started from the beginning of this. I should do a playlist. I think I do have a playlist of all of our. I know it's on Bees. At the beginning of this readathon. I usually I'm gonna, I think everyone knows what I'm gonna say. I usually recommend if you're like used to reading contemporary, but this is dark. This is not. Don't get upset at me, guys. This is not. If you can read dark, it's dark. But I love Sea of Ruin. This is a historical romance as well. It's a pirate romance. We have a female captain. I believe Bennett Sharp. She should be on every woman's shelf. But that's it's dark. It's dark. Okay. But this is very good. And then the Victorian Rebels series by Kerrigan Byrne. I absolutely
again
love.
Dark.
It's dark. St. James, like I like that too, by Lorraine Heath.
Yeah. I'm sure like all of us have made videos about like romance recommendations. I've definitely made one. I probably should make an updated one at this point, but it was like specifically for beginners.
Nice. I just did one this year.
Because I'm thinking Lorraine Heath and like all of the Victorian Rebels. These are prologues. They're gonna gut. You're gonna know right from the beginning. Am I locked into the story? You will be. And they're just
she says she reads dark now.
Oh, okay. Now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
she's
then
good then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, check those warnings for sure. I'm always gonna say Tessa Dare, and I'm always gonna say with Tessa Dare, go ahead and start with the Girl Meets Duke series, Duchess Deal, Governess Game, Wallflower Wager, and then I liked working my way backwards with her. And then Lisa Kleypas, I think you can't go wrong with like the Wallflowers. Really just go in publication order. Wallflowers, Hathaways, Ravenels.
Lorraine Heath. I feel like Lorraine
Heath. Yeah. Lorraine Heath, Beverly Jenkins, Stacey Reed.
Yes.
So many good ones. Yeah.
Joanna Shoup for Gilded Age.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's set in New York, girl.
So good.
Okay. Yeah, Gilded Age set in New York. So like you're getting, those self-made men, mafia vibes, deep pockets. That's fun.
Yeah, we got all the recommendations for you both
here.
Like,
we could be here all day. Yeah.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah, just do like a live rec video one time.
I know that would be
so fun.
Oh, and I saw Monica just said 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake. Tea and Biscuits Book Club is doing that at the end of the month, Sarah. So if you want to read that, you can join us. We'll be talking about that. I love that book.
I do too. Oh, I need to reread that one. That's a good
join
one.
us on the 29th.
Yes.
It's so good.
It's a classic. Speaking of Sarah McLean, I just want to quickly mention, because Lisa and I just talked about this book in our last live show for Blushing Blue Stocking Society. We read The Season, which is Sarah McLean's debut. It's YA. However, it is a fantastic introduction into historical romance. There's a murder mystery. There's a fantastic friend group, friends to lovers romance, and Sarah McLean really does a fantastic job of introducing the peerage, what all that was. It takes place in the Regency era. She even had author's notes where she gave you a breakdown of what's a duke versus an earl versus
love that.
All that.
Yeah.
So, that's another great one. We both really, really enjoyed that one. I didn't expect to, but it was really great.
Oh, that's awesome. I came across it the other day and I was like, I've never heard of this.
It's so good.
Have it. Yeah. Very cool. Well, I have a question. Talking about one relationship saying that Kleypas maybe was trying not to have Rhys and Helen eclipse Devin and Kathleen. I don't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like we got to see the actual scene in which Rhys proposes to Helen. What we see is Devin and Kathleen noticing Helen walking up to them with stars in her eyes and a giant rock
ring. Yes.
Yeah.
And I would love to have seen that scene.
It is kind of weird. Well, and I assumed going into Marion Winterborn that we would have gotten it, but I don't think we do. I think it moves on from there. I think we just go to their reconciliation. But yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm Lisa Kleypas, why did you leave that out?
Well, I'm wondering if she left it out because she was afraid it was basically just going to turn into the Helen Rhys book.
Their story. She's like, wait, I have more with them.
Yeah. We got a proposal here. I mean, yeah. Oh my gosh. If you lose me, I don't know if you can hear the thunder. There is a crazy storm overhead right now. So I apologize. If you hear that.
Lord.
Yeah.
We've been having storms lately too.
It's that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, The Season by Sarah McLean. Is that also set during December? Is it like a holiday season book also? I couldn't tell based on the cover.
It's not. And I despise the new cover. I love the original cover because it's giving Gossip Girl. And I'm here for that vibe. Because it was 2009 when the book came out.
Yeah.
Gossip Girl. Yeah, the new cover, I hate it. It just looks so.
Now I need to see it.
But yeah, no, it just takes place in the London season. So you're seeing the season from beginning to end, which again I think is really cool because I feel like a lot of historical romances kind of gloss over that of what the season entails, what being presented at Almax is, and what that means, and all that stuff.
Yeah, you just sort of have to figure it out as you go as a new historical romance reader. It's just they take it for granted that people know when they're reading.
I think I also liked, what was the book? A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting. I really liked that because it was like a woman that wasn't a lady who's trying to infiltrate society to save her sisters and her by like claiming a match.
Who wrote that?
Like, I need to look at. I was looking up right now. I was like, that might be more responsible than me recommending Sea of Ruin.
Diving into the deep end right away.
Okay, that is by Sophie Irwin. I adored the hero of this book.
Okay.
Ladies Guide to Fortune Hunting.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, very cool.
And I feel like it's good since she reads dark. Then it's a good way to dip into that too.
Yeah.
Wait, I've never heard of this book.
Oh, it's so freaking good. Because she's very resourceful and she's learning all of the rules of propriety and gaming them, and she's gonna secure a match if she's got to. So it's almost like you see the lengths that she's willing to go to secure a match to pay off the debts for her and her three sisters, and she's willing to play the game. Except the older brother of one of her prospects comes home and he sees what she's doing, and it's their romance, but he's trying to stop her from taking advantage of his younger brother, and it is so. Oh, she does. What is it?
Ooh.
Sorry to get into Rex, but it is crazy to me how very much like, and again the magic, like I felt like in that book, like I was keyed into both, and not that I wasn't, well, no, I wasn't as much at a certain point within the book with Devin and Kathleen, but there's just so many other dynamics going on. Even in the beginning of the book, I felt more attached to West and his story, and I kept thinking, when is he gonna get, because he was doing so many active things on the page to where like his development just started sprawling early. My Darling Duke.
I love that one. That's a good one.
I love that one too. My Darling Duke is great. Oh, there's so many good ones. So many.
Yeah. But no, I totally agree with that, and like what somebody said in the comments earlier, like, well, with Kathleen being like not really, like there's not much to her, like she's fine, but she's not like a standout. And I feel like same with kind of Devin as well, which I feel like their relationship, like it's good and it's fine, but you're not like out of your seat waiting for a moment with them, you know?
And I'm like, why am I more excited about, it was interesting to me. I'm like, I'm so excited about West doing all this research on the land of Tiffany. You know, there's something there when like they struck gold. I was like so excited about the deals and like getting it. So it really did feel like it's a strong intro book.
Yes.
And, oh my gosh. Winterborns. I loved that scene. I loved finally in this list since throughout our readathons, like we get to actually see New York. We're there, and oh my gosh, it's larger than everything. And he's just got every little point of aspect. Didn't they mention that he had like perfumed that was specifically for spraying on paper and didn't run the ink? I mean, this man was cornering every freaking market. I loved it. And that he sent. So I'm interested in seeing
very business savvy.
Can be redeemed after that.
Well, and also like reading it this time around too, I was like, could you imagine living in London at the time and experiencing the first department store? Like that must have been insane. Like,
yes,
absolutely insane. The fact that like before that, obviously you had to go to like little shops for like every little thing. And then he's talking about, I mean, this building has like multiple floors, takes up a whole block. Like, whoa. What?
Yeah.
And you can get everything from like saddles to like
the one-stop shop.
Like crazy things that you definitely can't get nowadays at a department store.
And I'm like, Kathleen, stop acting like you are not impressed. She was sitting up there and the girls are just loving it. They're like, we're going from department to department. He had bookstores in there. Oh my God. Like it was just too much.
I loved it. They're like, we're gonna need another bag or basket or whatever.
Yeah, the twins were tearing it up, man.
Yeah. Well, when he sends the box to their house when he's gonna come have like Christmas with them, and the girls like find the box and they're just like digging through everything and like all the Christmas decorations.
They lock themselves in the room because Kathleen's talking about how we can't accept this because we're important. So while they're arguing about it, they just go lock themselves in the room and open that.
And
I
think
love
the
them.
footmen had trouble getting it in, but those two girls could tear it.
They're great.
All on their own.
I love them. They're like, why should we have to worry about how much it costs? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this too. Yes. I mean, just like we say that West is like a different Leo, and Reese is definitely Harry Rutledge, but department store and different too. But like, it's the vibe of Harry and Reese have the exact same vibe of I don't deserve her, but I'm gonna have her anyway.
And I love that.
Yeah.
It's always a self-made man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that aspect. It's like it's the same sort of like takedown. He's not gonna be he's not gonna be withering and whimpering and I'm not good enough for her, so I'm not gonna try. I don't care. I want her and I can get in there. I love that. I love that.
I cannot wait for you guys to read about Tom Severin.
Oh, I know.
I'm excited.
It's huge.
So good. Yeah.
I can't wait till I'm introduced to, because I like full disclosure, I'm at chapter 6 in the second book. We'll get to that in that live. But I'm wondering like if when I'm gonna meet West's heroine, like I'm like a female doctor. Like, so already like Reese, I love how he hires the valet because he realized this guy has expertise that's going to get me looking the best and knowing just all the little like rules of society that I don't know. I love that. And then even like at the department store, like, so I like that there's these characters that are a little bit like unconventional, like, and I'm like, okay, a female doctor, let's go. I
love Garrett.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I love that scene too where Reese is just like, so what's your current salary? Well, I'm gonna pay you. Yeah. He's just like, well, I'll pay you 40 pounds a year. No, 45, my final offer.
Yeah.
He's like 35, and then when he's like 45, that's it. Let's go.
I love it.
With room, board, and meals at the department store, I would have been gone.
All right. For real.
You can make new friends.
That's right.
Yeah. You can make new friends.
Just so smooth. But then when he would have these moments with Helen, so you get to see him be, even like with Devin, where he's like, well, show me the books. We'll look at it. He's just very like exacting, like well-to-do, like he knows. And then like she enters the room and the man's like starstruck, like even like the sentences. Like the cadence is different. Like it's just, you can see that. And I really like that, which is why I was so shocked that he hemmed her up in the hallway with the French kiss, and probably hit her with the window because she was terrified. Like, I would want to do that with her tongue. I'm like, what did he do?
Reese. Yeah. He definitely messed it up.
Yeah, he did.
Cliffhanger on their romance. I don't know. I did like when Devin gave her the timepiece, and I did like the declarations that we had gotten to, but I also felt like that was wrapped up fairly quickly. And for some reason, the cliffhanger on Reese and Helen's romance was a little more romantic because with the orchid and how just then like we didn't get to see her get the ring or like the actual proposal even after that declaration. And maybe that's very much to their characters. They have such like a duty to everyone else around them, and there's so much happening, maybe it speaks to that, but it definitely felt like an introduction. And I was looking elsewhere when they weren't, because I'm like, okay, you're gonna, I don't know why. I also didn't like how they were towards each other when it wasn't good. Like they were just
which I wonder if she had like these other character stories she wanted to tell, and she was just like, how can we introduce them and drop you into their world before just starting into all these and like, so she had to like come up with then Kathleen and Devin, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that dynamic that's like, Devin has the Ravenel temper, and then,
they really lean into that in this book. I forgot how much they bring that up all the time.
Because I'm like, is this going to be foreshadowing the rest of the series? Because I really didn't see that with Devin. I felt like, the moment like where she's using her writing prowess. I loved how you put that. I'm going to use it, her writing skills, and puts him in a tizzy. But I didn't even really see it in that moment. I think like that just we kept being told that, but I didn't really see the temper. Maybe I think it informed at least his cousin and like his last moments and that.
Yeah.
Like that
right.
made more sense.
When he's bossing her around and he's like, go to my room. And I was like, no, you did not say that. Like,
no, you were right.
Yeah, I mean, he can be a little shit. For sure.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I love to say like
he's
the
not
subtitle
my hero. You know, he's not my dream Lisa Kleypas hero, but I appreciate their story for what it is.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
You know, and there's so many other things that make this book what it is, and it does make this book special in its own way. But
I'm excited to see Helen come into her own, because I like the little ending where she's like, they spoke over me. They didn't even take into account what I wanted and how she sees him as maybe a sense of adventure. Like, she's very brave and very strong and just like, so I'm very interested in seeing her journey. Like, this really set me up for that. And the foreshadowing of like the twins might be separated in some way. Like, they're talking about that with like Cassandra and Pandora and how they're like joined at the hip, like how that's going to change. So I'm intrigued. I'm ready.
I'm so excited.
I know.
I'm so excited for everybody who's like reading this for the first time.
Next book.
Yes.
Wait, and you said you don't have the step back for that?
I don't, but the side like shows you the image. But
and was this title just different at one point?
Woo! What do you mean?
I don't think so.
Like, was it marrying Mr. Winterbourne?
It was.
What?
No, it was.
Because I'm like, I remember.
Look at the end of that one. Yes.
Oh, it does say, yeah.
Because I have so many books.
Yes, it does say marrying Mr. Winterbourne.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, wait, what? Okay, change.
Isn't that crazy?
I love that. Which is funny. I always used to think it was, and every time I see the cover, I'm like, it's not on there. So where did I get that? But it must have been from the end of the book.
Yeah, that was the original title.
Yeah,
I just love this cover.
I do, and she's already in that dress.
It's such a Helen cover. The vibe.
Yes.
The vibe is there.
My God. Let me see him again. Let me see that step back.
Oh yeah, B, you need to show the step back.
Oh my gosh.
Love.
So good.
Yes, a robust man right there.
Oh, well,
strong jaw, strong everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Love it.
Love it. All right, so I think that's it for this live show discussion of Cold-Hearted Rake. And thanks everybody for joining us. You know, we've got a lot of comments. I always love responding to you guys in the comments, and thanks for your recommendations in the comments as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you guys, Christy, B, and Tiffany, for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting.
Of course.
And our one next month will be on your channel as well, right?
It is.
In July.
It is. So pretty sure this is my favorite book of the series. We'll see upon reread. I think it is. But yeah, it's on my channel to, what is it, July? Is it July 13th? Let's see.
Oh,
yeah, July 13th.
Is it 4
again
p.m.?
on the 13th, exactly a month from now.
4 p.m. EST. Yes. July 13th, 4 p.m. on my channel. Yep.
Yay.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope that everybody has a great weekend, great rest of your evening, and we will see you guys exactly 1 month from now.
Yes.